The circulatory system, or the cardiovascular system. Blood vessels carry blood to every part of the body. Blood moves oxygen and nutrients to cells and carries carbon dioxide and other waste away from the cells. Waste like carbon dioxide is brought to the lungs to be released, while other waste is brought to the kidneys to be filtered, and the waste can leave the body through the urinary system. Movement of materials into and out of our cells occurs by diffusion and active transport. Diffusion usually occurs when materials move from an area where there is more to an area where there is less, or from an area of greater concentration to an area of lesser concentration. For example, oxygenated blood has a lot of oxygen, but the body cells have an abundance of carbon dioxide. So the oxygen is left and the carbon dioxide is picked up. Active transport is the opposite of diffusion. Active transport requires energy from the cells to move substances across the cell membrane. Your heart is an organ made up of cardiac muscle. Your heart has 4 compartments called chambers or rooms. The upper 2 rooms are called atria, or the right and left atrium. And the lower 2 chambers are called the right and left ventricle. Blood flows only in one direction, from the atrium to the ventricle, then from the ventricle into the blood vessel. A wall called the septum prevents blood from flowing between the 2 atriums or the 2 ventricles. The blood flows into the right atrium, then exits through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle, then through the pulmonary artery to the lungs, then back into the heart through the pulmonary veins, entering the left atrium through the bicuspid valve into the left ventricle, where it'll leave the heart through the aorta. The flow of blood. The superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava bring the blood to the right atrium, through the bicuspid valve to the right ventricle, out of the heart through the pulmonary arteries to the lungs to get oxygen, then back to the heart through the pulmonary veins into the left atrium, then through the bicuspid valve into the left ventricle, then finally through the aortic valve into the aorta, where oxygenated blood is sent to all of the body cells. Lub-dub sound. Sometimes the blood doesn't flow in one direction, and it makes a lub-swoosh-dub sound, and this is known as a heart murmur. The heart. Sciences have divided the circulatory system into 3 sections: coronary circulation, pulmonary circulation, and systemic circulation. Coronary circulation is blood flowing within the heart. Coronary means heart. Pulmonary means lungs, so this is the circulation to the lungs for the blood to become oxygenated. Systemic circulation is circulation to all of the body cells. Systemic means body. The beating of your heart controls blood flow through each section. Coronary circulation is the blood flow of blood to and from the tissues of the heart. When the coronary circulation or circulation within the heart is blocked, oxygen and other nutrients cannot reach the cells of the heart, and this can result in a heart attack. The flow of blood through the heart to the lungs and back to the heart is called pulmonary circulation. Pulmonary circulation is very important so that blood can become oxygenated. Oxygenated means with oxygen. It is very important for this oxygenated blood to be sent to all the muscles of your body so that they can perform their certain task or functions. Systemic circulation is oxygen-rich blood moving to all of your organs and body tissues, except for the heart and the lungs. And then oxygen-poor blood is going to be returned to the heart. This oxygen-poor blood does, however, contain carbon dioxide, which will be sent to your lungs so it can be released as a waste product. Oxygen-rich blood flows from your heart to your arteries to your body cells. Remember, arteries bring blood away from the heart. Systemic circulation is the nutrients and oxygen are delivered by your blood to your body cells in exchange for carbon dioxide and waste. Finally, the blood returns to your heart in the veins of the systemic system. Remember, veins bring blood into the heart. Notice how the word vein spells in. Blood vessels, like arteries, carry blood away from the heart. Arteries have thick elastic walls made up of connective tissue and smooth muscle. These are largest of the three blood vessels in the body. Arteries connect to capillaries through smaller vesicles called arterioles. Arterioles are basically just small arteries. Each ventricle of the heart is connected to an artery. Every time your heart contracts, blood is moving from your heart into these arteries. Your left ventricle is attached to the pulmonary artery to take the blood to the lungs. The left ventricle is attached to the body's largest artery called the aorta. You can see the aorta on the top of the diagram. Blood vessels that carry blood into the heart are called veins. Veins have one-way valves that keep blood moving towards the heart. Veins are smaller than arteries, but larger than capillaries. Capillaries are connected to veins through venules, or small veins. Two major veins return blood from your body to your heart, and they are called the superior vena cava, which brings blood from your head and neck to your heart, and the inferior vena cava, which brings blood from your stomach and legs to the heart. The superior and inferior vena cava both bring blood to your right ventricle. Remember, the blood is deoxygenated but filled with carbon dioxide. Capillaries connect arteries and veins. Capillaries are microscopic blood vessels that have very thin outer walls. These very thin outer walls allow for gas exchange. That means that carbon dioxide and oxygen are exchanged in capillaries.